Hello and welcome to Art with Mrs. Beaufeaux. I almost said good morning, but knowing the virtual world, you could be viewing this at any time of the day. Today we're going to be working on a simple line drawing project focusing on our shoes. I'm so excited to get started. We're going to be discussing very detailed, intensive line drawing today. We're going to make a pencil and paper image, and then we're going to overline with permanent marker and finally finish with pigmentation through the use of colored pencils. Let's get started. Line drawing is defined as a drawing done using only narrow lines, the variation of which in width and density produce such effects as tone and shading. Our line drawing today is going to focus very closely on specific details of your chosen piece of footwear. As always, step 1, name, date, and class on the back side of your paper. This helps me identify when we are doing backing paper and grading. You need to have your name, date, and class on the back. A piece of artwork needs to be precise today. Precision in art is smooth, sharply defined style, which started with painting in the USA around 1920. Precision in art is very important for some specific jobs, things like architecture or interior design or even car design needs to be very precise in their drawings to communicate the ideas effectively to either other business leaders or their intended audience, consumers. In step 2, I'm looking at my shoe. I turn it around, decide which side I think is most interesting. Now I'm going to try and block out the basic shape first, and then I go in for different details. You can see I'm using just a simple pencil and an eraser. In step 3, I use both my fine point Sharpie and my flare tip pen to get really close in with those little details. By this step in the process, you've already completed the image once. So I want you to use precise movements in making sure going over all of those pencil lines. In step 4, I use my big eraser, and you can see I'm holding onto my paper as I'm erasing over all of the sections that I've done with permanent ink. You can see me here rotating my picture plane to make sure that I'm getting all sections. I'm going over every part that I've done with ink. Today, the art material that we're going to use to pigment this image includes colored pencils. They are defined as an art material constructed of a narrow pigmented cord encased in a wooden cylindrical case. In other countries, they're also called colored pencil, pencil crayon, and even coloring lead. Looking at the colors that I have available, I don't have the same indigo pigment that my shoe is, so I'm going to be using a couple different colored pencils to layer over the image to try and get the right hue. It's not going to be perfect, but it can be close. You can see when I'm doing my coloring style, I'm making sure to look at the parts of the shoe that are brighter and the parts of the shoe that have shadows. On the shadowed parts, or the darker parts, I'm going to go over a few times with my lead, my coloring lead, and then I blend over top with different colored pencils, including things like white and black. This step in the process I normally do for you, but I want you to see the different ideas that can pop out of your image by the different colors chosen. For my image, I'm going to stick with this light lavender because I feel like it pops out those colors I used in the shoe a little brighter than the green, the magenta, or the blue. This has been another Art with Mrs. Beaufeaux video. Today we focused on the ideas of precision in art, line drawing, and we focused on a new art material called colored pencils. I learned something new today. I had never heard the term coloring lead before, so I'm glad that I researched it. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a 4th grade level project.